Good morning guys and welcome to Tunis, Tunisia. Now this is quite an interesting country with some highly fascinating heritage, and over the coming 2 days we're gonna explore the capital of Tunisia and see what it's got to offer. So let's go. So we are now in the center of Tunis here, and you can see that this place is pretty chaotic. But before we go and explore the capital here, let me tell you something about this rather fascinating country of Tunisia. Tunisia is situated at the northernmost tip of Africa, and that is obviously a very strategic location, which is why lots of empires and foreign civilizations wanted to own this land. The native indigenous people here are the Berbers, but starting in the 12th century BC, the Phoenicians came, and then there was the civilization of Carthage, the Roman Empire, the early Muslim empires, and also the Ottoman period. So the Ottomans were here until 1881, when they were defeated by the French. France then established a protectorate, which is like a colony, and that lasted until 1956, when modern Tunisia became an independent country. And yet the most fascinating aspect is that all these civilizations left their mark on Tunisia. Now, in terms of accommodation, I found a small guest house on Airbnb, and it's basically a shared apartment with private rooms and then communal kitchen and bathroom. But yeah, I'm very happy with it. It is super clean and comfortable, and also in a great location for only 23 euros per night. Now, I also quickly wanted to show you the Tunisian currency, which is the dinar, and it's about $1, 3 dinars, so it's pretty easy to convert. And the interesting thing is that this is a closed currency, so you cannot take dinars outside of Tunisia, and you can't import them either. And yeah, most places here are cash only. If you go to a large international supermarket, you can pay by card, but you really always need cash here. Now, a bit of background info here. I actually used to come to Tunisia quite frequently as a kid because I have some Tunisian relatives. So this is my 6th time in the country, but the last time I was here was in 2012. So yeah, 13 years ago. And I am curious myself to see if and how it has changed. First impressions of Tunis, you have quite an interesting mix of architecture here. You have all the Arabic style Medina type architecture, but then you also have the French colonial buildings, and it makes for some nice contrasts. The main language is Arabic, but French is also very widely spoken. You can actually get by with just French. That is my experience. English is not as common, but in the tourist areas you will find plenty of English speakers, just like anywhere. Alright guys, we are now entering the Medina here. Wow, this place is crowded. We got markets everywhere, selling scarves, shoes and handbags and all the usual stuff. So yeah, this place is insanely busy. As you can see, it is Friday morning, which is probably the busiest day of the week. And yeah, you can buy pretty much anything here. Mostly clothes, but I'm sure that other parts of the Medina have lots of other things as well. But in terms of getting hassled, as you can see, it isn't too bad. Nobody's really trying to sell me something. Sometimes they do, but it's not that aggressive. And also it's kind of a mix of tourists and locals. There are definitely some tourists here, but not that many. You don't really notice them that much because the place is so full. Now this part of the Medina is a lot quieter, and you can see they have this really quirky pink cafe. Definitely a lot of interesting stuff to discover here. Alright guys, we are now in the courtyard of the stunning Zitouna Mosque, and this is the oldest mosque in Tunis. It was built in the 7th century and then it was completed in the 9th century, and they actually used various columns and other materials from ancient Carthage here. And if you're not Muslim, you cannot actually enter the prayer halls, so you can take pictures from outside, but you cannot go into the main halls. Alright, we are now on Kasbah Square, which is one of the main squares here in Tunis, and it is located right next to the Medina. And then you have this national monument here with lots of flags, and yeah, that monument was built in 1989. As you can see, the Tunisian flag has a star and a crescent, and those are Islamic symbols from the Ottoman Empire. So that flag was first adopted in 1827 during the Ottoman period. Alright guys, it is now day 2 here in Tunis, Tunisia, and we are bang in the center on Avenue Bourguiba, and you have various landmarks here, including the clock tower and also the abandoned Hotel du Lac. This was a luxury hotel built in the Brutalist style in 1973, but it has been abandoned since the year 2000. Now, if you want to visit a museum here, I highly recommend the Bordeaux, which has some incredible Roman mosaics. But yeah, I won't have time to visit it on this trip. I went there a few times as a kid. So yeah, if you come to Tunis for the first time, definitely check out the Bordeaux. I am gonna visit the Cathedral though, which was built by the French in 1897, and it is pretty stunning. Right guys, I have made it to Carthage, which is a small city on the outskirts of Tunis, right on the Mediterranean Sea, and then the ruins are spread all over this little town. And yeah, getting here by public transit was a bit more challenging than I thought. The metro or tram line doesn't actually go all the way to Carthage, it only goes to Tunis Marina, and so I had to get off there and then take a bus. And that bus took about 40 minutes, but I also had to wait for the bus and wait for the tram. And so in total, it took me well over 90 minutes to get here, and it's only 15 kilometers. So we are now inside the ruin complex here. The entrance fee is 12 dinar, which is about 4 euros, so not bad at all. And yeah, what you should know about ancient Carthage is that it was one of the greatest powers on the Mediterranean. And it was founded in the 9th century BC by the Phoenicians, who were originally from modern-day Lebanon. But yeah, the peak of Carthage in terms of prosperity and wealth was in the 3rd century BC. But after that there were many wars, and in 146 BC Carthage was taken over and destroyed by the Romans. And what you see here is actually a Roman complex. So this was built in the 2nd century AD. Alright, let's head inside. This is really cool. This is quite special because all of this was a huge thermal bath complex. I really love exploring sites like this because you feel like you're walking through history. Walking through some of the covered parts, this goes on for quite a while. I mean, yeah, this place is definitely worth visiting. There are many other Roman sites in Tunisia, but this one is the closest to Tunis, so it's relatively easy to reach. Now, my Carthage ticket also includes the Roman theater, which is right here. Not bad, I have to say. So they are actually preparing some kind of event, not sure what, but yeah, this is the Roman theater of Carthage. And that is it from Tunis, Tunisia. Definitely worth checking out, a city with a lot to offer, and I would say that 2 days isn't really enough. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and see you in the next one. Goodbye.